Hello, everyone. Welcome into a very special Xfinity Monday Live. I got to tell you, fans have never been more excited. We got Broncos players, Nuggets players all the time. This is the most reaction that I've ever gotten as we have got the head coach of your Denver Nuggets, David Adelman, kind enough to join us. Coach, first and foremost, congratulations.
Thanks.
So well deserved. I'm curious, I mean, you dived right in. What a tumultuous situation. Now that this season's over, have you taken a moment to step back and kind of realize and celebrate yourself a little bit?
I wouldn't say celebrate myself, but definitely looking back at it, look at the journey of the games that we were playing at the end of the regular season throughout the playoffs. It was an experience, and obviously didn't end the way we wanted it to end. But yeah, you do look back and you see a lot of the positives and some of those historical playoff games to be a part of it. Really proud of the guys and hoping that is a springboard for next year.
When you get to this point in your coaching career, I know you got a lot of mentors and people you've run into along the way, but of course you got a Hall of Famer you can just call up and say, oh, hey, Daddy-O. But I'm curious, what is the biggest thing you've learned or taken from your dad that you put into your coaching?
Probably just the way you react in games, keeping yourself at a good level emotionally. It allows you to kind of see through things when things get tough and conflicts in your face. And we played two great teams during that playoff run. And, I watched them growing up, and just the way, just being very temperate, and understanding the situations is it's key. So, yeah, great example in that sense. And then beyond that, just understanding that when you get away from these games, the mental health aspect's really important. And you got to be able to take a break, take a breath. To give yourself the best advantage to look back at the game and look at it in an honest way to coach your players. So very lucky to have that example. Came from a staff that obviously had a lot of dads at coach with Coach Malone, and Ryan Saunders. So it's an advantage for sure.
It's funny. A few weeks ago, we had Dan Issel on, and he said his favorite thing about you was your demeanor. And he said he called himself an idiot. He said he used to be yelling and screaming. He said DA's not, and that's one of the big reasons that you got his stamp of approval. So people notice.
No, that's cool. And it's it's funny is you look calm, but you're going crazy inside because you're thinking about a million different scenarios. But I do think you probably find a better solution when you can take a deep breath and really look at it in a calm way. Usually leads to good things as opposed to being crazy emotional. I think that bleeds into your players and it leads to poor play.
You said in your press conference last week, new ideas are good ideas.
Yeah.
Can you share any new ideas that you got with us?
I mean, I said in the press conference, I thought the playoffs, we got a chance to do some things defensively we hadn't done, junking up the game. As our guys have gotten older, I think their IQ has heightened. Which allows you to try different things and throw things at great players like Harden and Kawhi and obviously Shea and Jalen. So it was cool to try that stuff. I think offensively, I said this too, it's hard to put new things on offensively until you can really practice them. So a training camp's going to be good for us, take a deep look at what's been good to us over the years. And even when you've been as successful as we have, traits go away and people change and how people guard you is different. So we have to come back with creative attitudes to maintain the level we've been at for all these years.
You're in such an interesting situation because it's not often you hire the head coach before the general manager, but right. Josh Kroenke knew what he wanted, and of course he made the right choice. But how do you envision that relationship with a guy that you don't come in with? He might be in the building, he might come from outside the building.
Yeah, I mean this. Professional sports is not who you hang out with. Yeah. It's a respect-driven business, and I trust Josh to make the right decision. If it's Ben Tenzer, who's our interim right now, great. If it's a new face that comes in with their own ideas, there's so many talented people in our league, and so you just hope you can be a partner. If you have a good companion in that sense, and you both see the team going a certain way. It makes conversations easy, and I think I've been around this a long time, and like I said, it doesn't mean you go break bread every night, but as long as we're on the same, pathway, I think we'll be okay.
That's incredible. I love that. We got so much more coming up here with David Adelman, head coach of your Denver Nuggets. Such a thrill to have you with us tonight here on Xfinity Monday Live. Welcome back into Xfinity Monday Live here at the View House Centennial. I'm going to dive right into it. Head coach of your Denver Nuggets, David Adelman, with us tonight. What a thrill. Of course, we got to talk about the best player on the planet, Nikola Jokic. But I think a lot of times people talk about the privilege of playing with or coaching Nikola Jokic. I'm curious, the pressure that comes along with it, where there is this window and it is the best player on the planet. What is the pressure as a coach to maximize everything for Jokic?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure. I think it's pressure and creativity more so, though. He's a very easy person to be around every day. That's probably what kind of sets him apart from people that have done what he's done. But you do feel a pressure when you have the off season to show that we can come back with something different. I've thought we've done that really well over the years, but you saw in the playoffs people guarded him different. And so it's weird. You say you got to come back with more things from Nikola, but I actually really think the key is how much better the other guys get, because there's only so much you can do when people send three bodies at somebody else. It comes down to team chemistry, spacing, and what he does anyway, trusting his teammates to make plays when he creates offense for other people. So, yeah, there's pressure on everybody. There's pressure on Nikola, to come back and be at the same level he's been at. But, yeah, he's a joy to coach and obviously a joy to watch for fans. He's good for sports, not just basketball. I've said that before. It's such an unselfish version of what you can be in life when you really are an expert at it. So, no, there's pressure, but I'll tell you what, I'd rather have pressure coaching Nikola Jokic than anybody else in the world when it comes to basketball. So very excited about that opportunity.
1,000%. I feel like, right, he just has triple doubles, and we're like, triple double. Like, you brush it off like it's nothing. Does he do anything that still surprises you?
Yeah. I mean, some of the games this year, the 30-20-20, just stuff that just doesn't seem real. And I think what surprises me the most is the relentless energy that he can bring throughout the 82-game season. It's one thing to say, look at his stat line. To get that stat line, you have to play at a level, not just skill-wise, but with the energy that he has. So, no, he's unbelievable. I think we've all talked about this in Denver and around, the national media, but people don't realize how the conditioned athlete that he is to play that way for that many games into the playoffs. So, proud to say you get to be around him, and it's an honor to coach him.
Yeah, we are truly blessed to watch him night in and night out. You mentioned kind of the pressure on the other players. My question is, what is your challenge to Jamal Murray this coming season?
Yeah, I hope Maul comes in, has a better start. Yeah. We've talked about that a lot. Jamal's an interesting person because he's a big guard.
Yes.
This is not Mike Conley. This is like three Mike Conleys in one. So it's like, I'd love to see Jamal get off to a hot start. I think it allows us to manage him better throughout the season. Same thing with Aaron, with Michael. Christian's always in shape. And not that those guys don't come back in shape, but they like to work their way into the season. We'd like to see them come back in a different way where we're really hot from the start. That allows you to really manage them throughout the season and maybe avoid some of the injury issues that we had in the playoffs.
I have so many more questions. I hate that I have to take a pause and take a break now. Time now for the People Want to Know. People Want to Know, brought to you by Common Spirit, official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos and champions for the communities we serve. And I was telling Coach, I've never gotten more fan questions than I did for this, so I'm going to try and we'll get as many as we can. And Dylan wants to know, this is a great question, aside from selling someone on the chance to play with Nikola Jokic, how do you convince a free agent role player that Denver is more than just a layover city, but a place to be desired, a place to stay?
That's a great question. Yeah. I think the city's underrated, for NBA people, if you want to talk about non-basketball, and just the growth of the city just since I've been here in the 8 years. It's a selling point, the central location where the city is, but then beyond that with the basketball, it's Nikola, but I also think stylistically how we play. Yeah. It's not just him. Very positionless basketball. I saw it in the playoffs with Aaron Gordon being kind of our point forward. Jamal kind of transferring more to a two-guard situation. So we allow guys to play, in different ways where they can enhance their skills in their career without even mentioning Nikola. So, yeah, there's so much here for people. It's a great place to live, like I said, and also, like I said, the stylistic part of how we play. I'd want to play the way we play.
Yeah.
And it's a cool style to play, so hopefully that translates to free agency.
I love that. I'm sold. That's a good pitch. Craig wants to know, what do you do to relax in the offseason?
Man, not much.
Do you relax?
Yeah, this thing is so cyclical as far as just you go right into the draft process, into free agency. After Summer League, though, I usually go back up to Oregon. Love hiking, fishing, golfing, being outside, so great, which are all the things you have here, too. And then I definitely take a trip to the ocean every year. The Pacific Northwest is a beautiful place, but then I get to come back here. So it's very lucky to have both places to go to, but that gives you a chance to kind of take a deep breath, recoup, and get your energy right for the season.
I love it. That was the People Want to Know, brought to you by Common Spirit. We'll try to get a few more of those in a few extra minutes, but right now we got to take a break. On the other side, we got to talk a little bit about the NBA Finals. We'll get Coach's take when we come back. An honor and a privilege tonight to have David Adelman, head coach of your Denver Nuggets, with us. And we got to talk about the NBA Finals. Of course, we wish the Nuggets were there, but it's okay. We got next year. We got lots of years. We got OKC. We got Indiana. How do you think this is going to play out?
I think OKC's obviously the favorite.
Yeah.
We saw that in our series. It's an unbelievable team, one of the deepest teams I've ever seen, one of the best defensive teams. Shea's obviously a great player. But the way Indiana's playing, with the spirit they're playing with, and the pace they play at, if you're a casual fan, I would watch that series.
Yeah.
There's stylistically, we were talking about us earlier, those two teams, it's going to be so interesting who demands the style of play. And I'm going to tune in for all those games, as much as I hate seeing OKC there, not us. And a lot of young stars, and Halliburton, what he's been doing. And then to see Siakam and his career arc and have this second coming, from Toronto. So very entertaining. OKC obviously favorite, but I expect a really good series.
It's going to be fantastic. And I hate that that this is over, but we will have a little bit more on CBSColorado.com. Coach, this has been an honor and a privilege. Thank you.
No, appreciate it. Thanks
Guys,
for having me.
We'll see you tonight at 10 o'clock. Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra very special minutes with David Adelman, head coach of the Denver Nuggets. This has been such a thrill tonight. And DA, can I call you DA? I feel like everyone calls you DA. It makes us feel like I know ya.
That's fine.
All right. No, I love it. I love nicknames. But I got to ask, you're going the crazy situation where you get thrust into this position. And you're auditioning truly in front of the nation, in front of the world, really, the entire basketball world, for 17 games? 17 games.
Yeah, 17.
What was it like knowing that you're here to win, but you're also coaching for your job and you're coaching for this next era?
Yeah, I think it's what team sports is. You take your situation away and you think about the group as a whole and how the group can get better, whether that's a short period of time or a long period of time, which we got to, not as long as we wanted to. But you have to take yourself out of the equation in life when it comes to a collective unit trying to achieve something. And I know that sounds very cliche, but that's the truth. And it allows you to do the job without thinking about what the end result's going to be. Because the end result doesn't really matter in the moment. In the moment, you're just trying to get by, day by day to get better. That's how I approached it. Whether I got the job or not, I couldn't decide that. I'm not the one making that decision, so what's the point of thinking about it? I just do the best job you can.
Well, you certainly did, and certainly well-deserved. And Nuggets Nation are really excited about this. The big question, I kind of put it out there, what questions do you guys have? And, of course, everybody wants to know, the bench.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there are young personnel in the building ready to step up, or do you feel like there is somebody outside that's really, that Bruce Brown type that you need to pull in for this season?
Yeah, I know the front office will be creative, and they're going to try to, add another piece to what we're doing. But the bottom line is the responsibility of our bench and the young guys to improve this summer will say a lot about what we do next year.
Sure.
And that's on the coaching staff to help them in that process. But that's on the maturity of a young man on the cusp of, a contract or a role change or whatever it is. What you saw Peyton Watson do in certain games, what Julian did in Game 6 against OKC. Those guys have to find a consistency, and they have to be part of why the winning gets better. Not that we just get by playing our guys as much as we had to. So the responsibility goes a lot of different places, but when you're young and you get thrust into situations, you have to take the next step. And we have guys in that building that have the capability of doing it, but it takes a maturity, and it takes a want, and not just hoping that it works out for yourself, but making it work out for yourself. And that's going to be the expectation this summer.
When you talk about this summer, you get a full training camp with this team, a full season. What do you feel like you can do? What are you most looking forward to? Not coming in with 3 games left in the regular season, but having a full off season, a full training camp, a full season with these guys.
Yeah, I think it's just demanding culture. We still a veteran team, and so I go into it, I'm not taking over a young team. It's our group coming back. So maintaining these guys through training camp, but making it new, making it fresh. So we can take some of the things you saw with the leadership of our guys. I thought a lot of guys stepped up. Talk about maturity of younger players. I thought our older players stepped up in the playoffs. You saw their leadership really shine, and that's got to continue into a training camp, into a preseason, and into the first games of the season, because this is not like old school NBA. There's not a lot of time. Like, you start right away.
Yeah.
So it's weird. It's not about schematically adding things as much as it is a continuation of the maturity of leadership from our main people. And I think that'll take us to another level we want to get to.
When you look at this squad and you look at the West, and it's only getting better, and there's all these young teams, what do you foresee kind of some of the biggest challenges that you guys are really going to have to take head on in the coming years?
Yeah, I think winning in a different way. Like, we were the young team years back, and I thought we kind of, put our imprint on people, playing our pace, our style. And I think now, being a veteran team, the expectation for us is, can we win in different ways? And we did that in the playoffs. I thought we won some games that were slower paced. You can win a lot of games in the regular season, getting up and down. The Pacers are doing it in the playoffs, which is very unique. But for us, it's getting back to being the possession-by-possession team. And if we can do that with veteran guys, I think it's stylistically, you can beat a lot of young teams that way along the way.
Everybody talks about the non-Nikola minutes, but it's always this fascinating conundrum, because you've got the best player on the planet. Nobody can replicate what he does.
Right.
How do you look to manage when that's a crazy challenge?
It is, especially early in the season, because it's not just about Nikola. We always talk about that, but Jamal Murray can't play 40 minutes a game in October all the way through April into the playoffs. So it's getting him through the season, too. It's Aaron Gordon, who is a really good backup five in the playoffs. He can't be your backup five during the season. So we have to find the right group, and we have to really put a consistent energy into those guys trying to find a rhythm. But you got to find the right five people. And I would say a lot of times you say 9.5 to start a season. So maybe it's a rotating starter with 4 other bench guys. But everybody's got to take a step in the right direction. And for me to find the right style to survive those minutes and or win those minutes, hopefully, we have to see improvement. And if we see that, it's easier to foresee how we can do that. But it hasn't been good enough. And we all know that. And it's a major point of contention for me to get better as a coach and make sure that doesn't happen again next year. It
is a difficult challenge. We'll end on this, Coach. What are you most looking forward to about putting your stamp on this team, about being the head coach of the Denver Nuggets?
One, that I have a job. It's nice to have a job.
Good to be employed.
Right. No, but I think just having the chance to build on what we did. And it was a small thing. It didn't last as long as, like I said, as long as we wanted it to. But it'll be nice to come in with a new personality. Not me, some new staff, seeing players come back, meeting different people. Off camera, we were talking about Aaron in Orlando, Aaron in Denver. You want to see maturity and people take steps just like we all do in life. Yeah. And if we all come back better people with a better attitude of how we can accomplish something, me included, I think you can see really special things. Man, is it October yet? I'm ready for the season. Coach, this has been such an honor. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Thank you. Everybody, thank you for logging on. We'll see you next time.